Pirouette shadings are definitely a unique, one-of-a-kind design exclusive to Luxaflex Window Fashion's product. Very strong patents ensure that this product line will stay exclusive in the marketplace for many years to come and will have no direct competition. As we go through this product, you'll see that it has a beautiful soft fabric horizontal fold and can give the appearance of a shutter. We very much encourage anyone who gets inquiries for shutters or is talking to consumers about shutters that they also offer or show them the Pirouette shading. Shutters are extremely popular. Most consumers are aware of what a shutter looks like, what a shutter does, how a shutter performs, but they will not be familiar with Pirouette. It's the product you need to show them to be able to sell them. So Pirouette creates that beautiful, soft, horizontal fold of fabric. It enables you to take the blind completely off the window. It gives you the view through. It gives you a soft filtered look through sheer fabric. So it can look like a shutter, but will set you apart in the market from other people who may be quoting shutters. Now, we're going to kick this session off a little bit differently because we're going to install our blinds straight away. We've got a Pirouette Ultra Glide in a 120mm fabric in satin river rock. So we're going to install that first and then talk through some of the control options and all of the, I guess, the elegant features and benefits of the product. So I'm actually going to turn and we're going to fit this product straight away. So what we've got here, we've got our product installation house set up. I've already pre-installed my 2 installation brackets for our Pirouette. Now, Pirouette is fitted with the same bracket that you use to install a Silhouette. So there's a bit of commonality between brackets. It has a gate which locks off, and you'll see when I put that blind in and tap it, the gate will lock off to hold that shade in position. So this is a bracket that can be top fitted, can be face fitted. Has a little tab on the back that you would break off if you were face fitting. If you need to build that bracket out from the wall to clear a window winder, a window mullion, a door handle of something like that, you can use our soft shade packers to build that out. You can also use a soft shade extension bracket, again, to further project that bracket away from the fixing point to give you the clearance that you may require. But we've got the standard bracket installed. So we're going to just pop that blind into the brackets. So here you'll see I've got the shade. I've unwrapped it from the packaging, and you'll see that it has a black plastic cover along the head box. Obviously it stays there until the install is finished. It says remove protective cover after installation, and you unsnap from the bottom up. So the very first lip of the actual head box locates just under the clear tab. Locate it, and it really is just a matter of little click. So those gates flick across to hold that shade into the bracket. So what we're going to do now is talk through the different operating systems that we have for Pirouette. The shade we have here is an Ultra Glide. Now, as you know, Ultra Glide is that standard length cord that's pump action, retractable cord. Great because there's no child safety issues. Don't need to fit a chain tensioning device. Don't even need to fit a cleat, providing your cord is not hanging below a 1600 point where a 220mm loop can be made. So I guess if you look at this scenario here, I've actually got my cord and I should actually fit a cleat here. I could probably just make a 220mm loop that's closer to the ground than 1600. So realistically this should be fitted with a cleat. But this is just our little display stand here, and obviously the shade is obviously mounted lower than a normal window. Now to operate the shade, an Ultra Glide, it's straight up and down if I want to raise the shade. If I want to bring the shade down and open the vanes, I'm actually pulling this forward at about 45-degree angle. So you can see that lowers it. If I keep pulling it, it opens that vein. I want to close it. I move back to the vertical position and I close that off. Wonderful thing with the new Pirouette version here, and you probably would have noticed that when I had the shade up, is that the bottom rail now rolls up, tucks up nice and neatly, and is concealed completely in the headrail. Previous versions of Pirouette didn't have that. Another control option, not quite sure what camera angle I've got there, Trev. We have our looped cord, which is Easy Rise. Now, Easy Rise will require you to secure the cord tensioning device to the reveal of the window if it's reveal fit, or with the little L bracket out on face if it's face fit. Now, Easy Rise has been a very popular control system with a lot of our products over the years, and for Pirouette it's still very popular. The other operating system that you can obviously use for Pirouette is PowerView. So PowerView is our motorised option for our soft shade products, also now for roller blinds and some awnings as well. And you have the Pebble and you have the wall mount remote that you can use for PowerView. Great thing with PowerView is that you can run it from either a battery pack or a plug-in DC power adapter. So it's all low voltage, 18 volt, and easy to set up. So a battery pack PowerView doesn't require any electrician to come along and run any hard cabling to operate that product. Now, keep in mind with a product like Pirouette that it has a reasonably large headrail. It has a projection of about 95 millimetres. So it will mean it's not necessarily the ideal product for some corners and bay windows. I've seen it done. It can look fantastic, but obviously you need to be conscious of the gaps that it will create in those circumstances. Now, we've got reasonably good light gaps here as well. On a Pirouette, you have a 16 millimetre light gap at control end and an 8 millimetre light gap at the non-control end. And as I said, if you want to fully mount that Pirouette completely in a reveal, you'll need a recess of about 95 millimetres to do so. Now, I mentioned a few of the install options, your 13 millimetre spacer blocks. You can get your extension brackets as well if you need to face fit and project the shade away a little bit. You can also call up a hold down bracket, just like you use on a Duet, similar to what you would use on an aluminium Venetian. It's a little hold down bracket which can just secure the bottom rail of the shade to stop it flapping around. If you happen to be putting these on a door, for instance, keep in mind the head box is large. Being on a door may pose some little hitting obstacles there, but you can have this little hold down clip and use it on your Pirouette shading as well. Now, this is a product with really outstanding features. It includes the adjustable and elegant soft horizontal fabric vane, which we looked at here. It has a sheer backing. So you can see as I lift the vanes, we've got a beautiful sheer backing here, which actually really softens the outside view. It'll give you some daytime privacy as a single level of sheer would do. This textured fabric really transforms what appears to be cascading folds to contoured veins. And it really filters the light and, as I said, filters that outside view. The revolutionary and patented InvisiLift system allows the vanes to be raised and lowered without obstructing the view. You can control that level of view that you want. You can, as I said, obviously close it to have that smooth, more contemporary finish, or you can have it slightly raised like I've done here for, again, that gentle contoured look whilst maintaining your full privacy or keeping it open for your view. Now, Pirouette fabrics come in two opacities. Translucent fabric, these veins obviously filter more ambient sunlight. Even when the veins are closed, that'll provide a nice warm glow with light coming through the fabric. Then you have your room darkening fabric. Obviously these veins are all about helping you to darken your room, provide complete privacy, but not give you total darkness. We never promote soft shades as a total blockout product when you talk silhouette, luminette and pirouette. It is really all about the warm glow that will come through the fabric or down between each vein. Great thing with pirouette, both the translucent and the room darkening fabrics can be ultrasonically cleaned. We know from some of our other room darkening soft shades, luminette, silhouette and duet, that ultrasonic cleaning for those in their room darkening varieties is not recommended. But for pirouette, it certainly can be done. We have two vein sizes. We've got here the 120mm vein, but you have a 100mm vein. It provides a bit more of an understated look with a reasonably good view through. But the 120mm vein really makes that bolder statement and provides a higher level of view through. Headbox. Now, as I said, when the installer fits this product, it comes like that with that on. Now I'm just going to remove that protective cover. Obviously got a beautiful, uninterrupted colour and texture running the whole drop of the fabric. Matching fabric covered head rail and the bottom rail is standard on all Luxaflex Pirouette fabrics. I want to talk to you about something which is a little bit odd, and it probably is something that's only an issue, not an issue, but a characteristic of the Pirouette product, and that is what we call our bottom fabric panel. Now, obviously the shades are made of a 100mm vein or a 120mm vein, so we may have to accommodate when we get to the bottom of the shade, because we can't have half of a 100mm panel or half of a 120mm panel. So we make up the difference there with what we call a solid bottom panel. Now, depending on the shade height, this bottom fabric panel will vary in size of up to 100mm for a 100mm vein or up to 120 for a 120mm vein. What I'm talking about is this little panel down here. Now, Trev, if we're able to get a close-up of that, may not be possible, but you'll see you have a vein and you have shear. But right at the very bottom here, I've only got about 15mm of what we would call solid panel. Depending on the drop, if this drop had been another 50mm in length, that bottom panel would be 50mm bigger. And that would be a solid 50mm bottom panel. So keep that in mind, that when you're ordering shades in a room that are different drops, that obviously that bottom panel may vary. Really important, if you're ordering shades that are side by side or in adjacent windows, to let us know on the order form that they are side by side, for us to line them up as best we can, and we do have a tolerance of 3mm, they need to have the same drop. Also need to be the same fabric style, colour, vein size and opacity. That is the only way we can line up veins and give you the same bottom panel. Now, for reveal mounted shadings, if you're ordering heights, and let's say one is 1 metre and one is 1.5 metres, order both the shades at the smaller of the two measurements to make sure they have the same vein setup. Now, we say to do exactly the same thing with shutters. Shutters at some point in a configuration and manufacturing point will click over to popping in another louver or changing the size of a divider rail. This is a very similar product because we've got fixed dedicated panel sizes that we can't change. That's it. That's Pirouette. It is a beautiful, soft, elegant, horizontal product that can look like a shutter. So I really would encourage you, when you're talking to people about shutters, just take a couple of minutes and take them to Pirouette. It's a product they more than likely haven't seen or heard of before, and it can do so much more with providing soft filtered light, beautiful, elegant, formal product, and they can roll it off completely off the window, whereas a shutter will obviously tend to close in a window on a more permanent basis. That is the end of the session, guys. If there's any questions or comments from anyone, please flick us a note through. Otherwise, we'll call the end of the session.